ultimately this. It's sharing with people, bringing guests on that actually been there and done it, right?
Right.
Because to me, the theory gets in the way. Let's
Yep.
really, if you've been there and you've done it, then
Yep.
share your wisdom, because it trumps knowledge all day long. And that's what I connected with Nick instantly.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he?
Cut through all the nonsense, right?
Yeah.
And let's get to it.
Yeah.
So that being said, there's my rant for the day.
Yes. Okay.
And I want you to just give us that 30,000-foot view, who you are, right? Where you came from.
Yeah.
Where you're at today and where you see yourself going. We're going to chunk that down.
Okay. Wow. That's quite a bit, huh?
No,
okay.
It's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
Because it's your story.
It is easy. Okay. Well, I had a lot of dreams, and there's along the way, there was a lot of negativity. I had dreams. I wanted to be a stunt woman. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a bouncer. I wanted to work with animals. I wanted to, I know it sounds funny, but I wanted to wrestle a bear growing up with, remember Grizzly Adams?
Yes.
I wanted
yes.
all of that, right?
Yes.
How do you get all of that? How does that happen? How does it start? For me, it started with Fred Flintstone, actually.
Okay.
I think he was doubling a rock headstone or something like that. Yeah. And he had to have, he was dressed up as a dinosaur, and a big boulder came smashing on his head. And I looked at that and I thought, well, that looks like fun, and then go forward a few more years, and Hooper came out, the movie with Burt Reynolds, where he played a stuntman. And there was that really great scene where all the stuntmen, all the people got thrown out of the window. They're in the restaurant, everyone's fighting. And I looked at that and I thought, well, that looks like fun. And now I know what to call it. It's called stunts. I want to be a stunt woman. But, how do you do that? Remember back in the day, there was no internet. Hollywood was like another world away. It was just impossible to get. And there's negativity. It'll never happen. And so you believe it and life goes on. And then, I started training. I started doing weightlifting, hence the Arnold. He's my guy. And I started doing that and wanting to take care of my body when I was about 18. And I got all negative. The second you start doing weights, you'll become, when you stop, you'll become fat and out of shape, and
bulky, and you'll be like a man, and all the fear, fear of the unknown.
Exactly. And so I didn't listen. As usual, I don't listen to a lot of negativity, and it's almost challenging to a certain degree. Well, if everyone's telling me I can't do it, I'm going to do it, right? And so I lifted weights, and when I got to 30, they said, oh, well, wait till you're 40, a woman's body at 40 lifting weights, forget about it, And then I was 40, and then, turning into 50, and it's like, I'm still in great shape. But the reason why I say all of that is because I started taking care of my body, and taking care of my body and listening to what was right for me opened the doors for me to start teaching self-defense. I was told I wanted to start fighting. When you're doing all kinds of sports, eventually you come across boxing, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to box, and I was told, oh, if you go into a gym and if you start, wanting to go boxing, the guys don't want you there. Men don't want you in the gym. You're going to go in, they're just going to beat you up. And so I found a place, and I made a beeline right for the office door. I know there was a class going on. There was a bunch of people around. And I walked straight into the office, and I said, how much is it for a year membership? And so he told me, and I paid for a year membership right there on the spot. I walked outside, and I had a panic attack. And I thought, well, they got 365 days where they're going to beat me up 365 times. Let's do this. And that opened the door for me to, when I started doing the boxing and then started teaching the self-defense, a producer and a director had come in. They wanted to do a movie. They wanted to do a demo for a movie to get picked up. So they asked if I would double a Playboy Playmate. And so here we are, you know, so many years later, and the stunts came right to my door, and it reignited everything, you know.
I love that.
Yeah,
Let's go back a little bit, because there's so
yeah,
many golden nuggets here, right?
yeah,
That
sure.
it's really, it's so important for people to grasp this, right? Because
Yeah,
there's going to be women that are watching this. There's going to be men that are watching this, whether the men admit it or not, and they're trying to figure out how you were able to break through those fear barriers, right? So
yeah,
you're coming out of the gym, and you said you had a panic attack, right?
yeah, yeah,
And then you're describing yourself in what society is going to title you as and define you as, and let's be clear about this. Part of my biggest message is you're the only one that has the ability to accept or reject a definition,
yes,
right? Of
that's right.
So a lot of people are going to put this definition on you, adrenaline junkie, right?
Yeah,
To
right.
me, it's not giving you nearly the credit. It's really about wanting, learning, figuring out how to
Mm-hmm.
actually live life for you at the
Yeah,
fullest.
yeah,
And that's what I'm getting so far, right, from your
yeah,
story.
yeah,
So when and I'm a big proponent on the negative, the past history, whatever it is that people
right,
want to use as a
right,
crutch. It's
right.
either your strongest propeller or your heaviest anchor. So
Yeah,
where did that come from early on to say it's going to be my strongest propeller? Because you did say that
yeah.
I take it as a
Challenge.
challenge. Like I'm
Yeah,
gonna, as we know, right? We're gonna
yeah,
bite down on the mouthpiece,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
We're coming right at you. Where did
yeah.
that come from?
Well, you know, everything has to come from the home, right? So where exactly did it come from? Who knows at what moment when I was growing up in the house that it came from? Maybe I was watching my sisters do something or say something. Maybe it was my parents. It all ties into that. You know, maybe it was my stubborn nature. You know, being the youngest kid in the family. So, you know, who knows what it was. Maybe because my sister was taking good care of me, that I was able to do anything that I want as a kid, and it brought me to that point. And so I don't know if anybody can really pinpoint exactly when it happened. Like we had bad times like growing up in the family, so maybe that sparked the adrenaline. And maybe that's what I keep searching for, that same feeling from what I felt when I was a kid. It could be that as well. In fact, it makes a lot of sense for it to be that. But I don't want to, I never lingered on the past. The past is the past and it's gone. So what did I learn from that, and how do I move forward? I've always been someone who moves forward. So
I
moving
love that.
forward.
I love that, because and
Yeah.
I believe it sounds like you hit it. It feels right to me anyway, that you hit
Yeah.
it right on the nose. It's a combination, right?
Mhm.
It's a combination of things that your past helped create who you are, right? And who you
Yeah.
need to be during this
Yeah.
journey. And I connect with that message about there was always something in me that I just kept moving forward as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was told by the professionals, I'm not supposed to win because I couldn't learn in that cookie cutter mode. But looking
Right.
back,
Yeah.
I just had the entrepreneurial DNA. They just didn't know it, right?
That's right.
Nobody
That's right.
nobody told them that in their books that they studied. So,
That's right.
all right, here is the for me
Yeah.
the big question.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Why and
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
a professional bouncer?
Oh, well, I see that.
Well, because that's what intrigued me, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really what intrigued me about
Yeah.
getting you on this show.
Okay.
Yeah.
why the bouncer?
Yeah.
Because no other woman was doing it. And
Yeah.
I could tell you again, you can't pinpoint, it's not one thing. Like growing up, I remember Charlie's Angels. I remember Wonder Woman, you know, and these were beautiful women. They were strong women. It's like, yeah, I want to be feminine, but I want to be strong, you know, but how do you apply that? You don't know, right? So again, going back to Hooper, like that looked like fun, you know, being a bouncer, throwing
Yeah.
people out. It was all a lot of fun happening back then. So when I started teaching self-defense, you know, it was like, yeah, like I wanted to put what I learned to the test, but at the same time, I was also fearful of it, right? There was a guy, one of my students actually, he was a head of security at one of the major clubs in downtown Montreal. And he kept telling me, come on, Helen, you gotta work at the club. We need a woman. We need a woman. And I was like, no, I got this. I got the stunts. I got the self-defense, you know. I don't want to put myself at risk. I don't want someone to stab me just because they had too much to drink, right? But at the same time, it's like, come on, Helen, you know, like
Yes.
you're, you know.
Yeah.
But look, I was afraid. I was afraid. But then, you know, I was no longer working. I didn't work anymore, and so all my eggs were in one basket, and I needed a job.
Okay.
And so that's what brought me there. I needed the money, and I was scared, but it was like, you know what? This was a part of it, and I loved it.
I love it because I want to put this in real perspective now for people that are watching this, so they don't. Here's my message to this. This is so big. That was beautiful. This is so big.
Okay.
Fear.
Yeah.
Just like intelligence has so many different definitions. So,
oh my God. Yes.
Yes. So
1,000%.
Please do not mistake your short story that you just shared with us on solely physical fear. So the people right now that are in a relationship, a toxic relationship, and are afraid to move forward. People that are in a corporate job that they hate because their parents told them they needed to do that. Connect this story. It all is relevant. Fear, right?
Yes.
So I wrote an ebook. It's called, you're going to love this, Helen. It's called The Monster Under the Bed.
Okay.
Now, you ready?
I can't wait to read it.
You ready?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Going to give you the 30,000-foot view. You're 10 years old. You're under the covers. You're in your room. The lights are out. It's pitch dark. And you know for sure there is a big green hairy monster under your bed ready to eat you. Now, we've all been there, right? I mean, I was just there.
100%.
I was just there last week. All right? Okay? Until an adult comes in, turns on the lights, you look under the bed, and what is it? There's no monster. Once you can learn how to turn the lights on in your journey, the monster disappears. And if you think you're the only one in this world that has those big green hairy monsters, you're out of your mind. You have not been paying attention in this journey called life.
That's right.
So I just shared a meme, and I'm going to probably butcher it, but Customato say the difference between a hero and a coward is the hero moves forward through that fear and becomes courageous. The coward runs.
That's right.
It's the same. It's all the same. So how long did you work as a professional bouncer?
I worked, it was a little over 2 years.
Okay.
The club I worked, it was a huge club. It used to be 1234. It used to be, what do you call it? A funeral home. Okay. So there's like 5 floors.
That's awesome.
I think it's on one of the ghost tours or something like that. But
you can't even make that up. I mean, that's awesome.
Yes, it was a really huge place. And I got to tell you, just before being a bouncer, remember now, I've been teaching self-defense for over 10 years at that point. You know, and yeah, look, as a woman, I've encountered, you know, harassment and, you know, on the street. So I had a little bit of a taste to it, but it wasn't every weekend, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday. And you know, you get all these people, sizes, differences, male, female, whatever, right? And so everything that I was teaching, and at the time I was teaching it, trying to be real as possible, so that nothing was memorized. You know, let's do an elevator scene, let's do a staircase scene, let's do a bar scene where we turn off the lights, and the language is there where you don't know what your partner's going to say or do, but you do know you're going to be attacked. So it was as real can get, and that you got an adrenaline dump from that. You know, I did many scenarios in a gym under controlled atmosphere where no, I was pretty scared. You know, you got my adrenaline going. You know, and then when I went out to work in the clubs, I had to start at zero. It was so different. And that is the difference between theory and application. Yes. Not to say that theory's bad. Theory is good. There's a lot you can get from theory, but oh boy, when it's not a partner, when there really are no rules, when you don't know who you're dealing with or where their friends are, or if they're waiting for you outside the club, which has happened quite a lot, oh boy. You know, you discover, you know, that you have the ability to talk yourself out of a lot of situations, which is the best thing. And you also have the ability to, you know, many times I would like, oh, look at the sky, look at all the stars over there, because I don't want to look over here. You know, I'm trying to avoid this. So I'll just be looking over there, and I'll just kind of avoid that one, because that could have been rough.
And
you know?
So I think my years of being on this earth and my journey, I believe the biggest gift that real world scenarios gives you is the number one, and there's not even a second place to this, I don't believe, in self-defense, in street fights, in real world scenarios, hand-to-hand combat, is this situational awareness.
Oh my God, yeah.
I spent 17 years in the most violent cities on the East Coast: Camden, Newark, Trenton, North Philly, Southwest Philly. No badge, no gun, no backup. Right? And stuck out like a sore thumb.
I want to tell you something about that. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So situational awareness is when you have to spend real time in the real world, in a violent scenario, or a possible violent scenario on a consistent basis, you will not make it without real situational awareness and building on that every single moment that you can. It's just a fact.
Yes. And going into that, you said something without backup or being when it's just
so with my business, right? I spent more time in the inner, and one of the cities I spent the most time in my own neighborhood was Camden, New Jersey. And anybody that wants to Google that, they actually did Discovery or A&E did an hour show just on how violent that city is per capita. I broke bread with people that, you know, we're in the internet world right now. We're in the social media world, and there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there, and they will tell you exactly what to do, how to do it from behind the screen, right? But there were situations and there were people that I broke bread with that 98% of the people that have all the answers would have no idea what to, you know. So it's situational awareness.
Yes. And well, there's two things now I really want to talk to you about. You just brought back some memories for me. There twice it happened where not only was I working at that club, but sometimes I would get contracts to work security at other clubs as well, right? And so twice it happened to me where I was working security, and for one reason or another, I don't know what it was, none of the security showed up. I was the only one for over 1,000 people.
Oh.
And it happened. Yeah. And it happened to me on more than one occasion. This one occasion, it was a comedy show, and there was 2 floors, well over 1,000 people. And I didn't know the comedian at the time, but I was working the door, and it's like, no one's showing up. Everyone's canceled. Have nobody to come in. I'm all by myself. And I'm thinking, this guy better be funny. Because if he's not funny,
that's your backup.
Yeah. I'm finished. And I'd like to actually meet that comedian one day and let him know, I was your backup one day. But thank you for being so funny.
Right.
But so there was that. And there was another time where, working at a club, you're a woman. A lot of guys think, oh, they can put their arm around you. Hey, baby, and all this kind of stuff, right? Don't touch me. I don't like to be touched.
No.
Who does?
You don't have the right. There's no right.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have the right. And I'm not your personal sex toy. So stand over there. So having said that other time when I was working all by myself, there was like a group of guys that came in, and I saw them and I thought, this is going to look.
You can feel it. You feel
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of these guys.
It's energy. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And so sure enough, throughout the night, they call me, and it's like, oh my God, are you kidding me, guys? There was like so many guys working the bar, and you're calling me? Come on. Right? So anyway, I had to deal with it. Sure enough, one of those guys was causing a lot of trouble, right? And I dealt with it in a way that I wouldn't allow anybody else to deal with it. I figured out how to make it work in my best interest. So I went up to him, and I knew if I got close enough, and if I didn't approach him violently, and I started talking and he had to get closer to hear me, I would allow him to put his arm around me, which he did.
Yeah.
You understand?
I get it.
So it's like in that sense, that was my safety.
Intuitive.
So I allowed it. And
Intuitive.
as we're, exactly. So, and that I didn't embarrass him. I didn't challenge him, but it's like, you got to go, and it's like banter back and forth.
Right. And so for people that are trying to, especially women, are like, what? How could you do that? Here's really how I see what you did is you used the resources that you've acquired over the years, right?
Yeah.
Intuitively. And it's like, how do you calm the monster? Well, it's by music, right? So him putting his arm around you was your way of conducting music to calm the monster, because and I love, here's what people have to understand too, whether we're talking about a physical fear, or an emotional fear, it's not losing sight of what the outcome you're looking for. So the outcome for you was just to get that person out of here in the easiest, calmest way possible.
Because remember, this guy came in with a lot of friends. I think there was like a group of 8 or 10 or something like that. So there's a lot of guys who would be willing to save him. You can't depend. I've been in, quite a bit of fights to know that, look, don't think that a guy's going to come in and save you. Right. If that happens, and it did happen too, great. It does make it easier for me, but you can't rely on it, and it doesn't always happen. And sometimes people just want to watch and see what the girl can do. You know what I'm saying?
And ultimately, right, at the end of the day, that is part of your job description.
Yes.
This is what you signed up for, right? This is what you decided to do. It's like the universe says sometimes, when you found yourself there by yourself, the universe says, be careful what you wish for, because we're giving it to you, right?
Yeah. And leading him out, I didn't humiliate him. I didn't. I let him. He had visual control over me. He had his arm around me. Go. That's fine.
In his mind, he was alpha.
That's it.
And in his mind, he controlled the outcome. See, it's genius, right? It's perfect. But it's the ability to be able to assess
and be
and move
okay with it,
forward. Yes,
and be
and
okay.
move
Like,
forward.
yeah,
And move
yeah,
forward. The other
yeah.
thing that these real world scenarios do for us and people that are willing to move forward in some of these uh, scary situations
Hmm.
is it builds self-awareness, which
Hmm.
in turn builds what I believe is the most important component in life, and that is emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
So, I share this story with people all the time. So I'm in North Camden,
Hmm.
7th and State Street,
Yeah.
as rough as you can get, run
Yep.
by Puerto Rican and Dominican gangs. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so bad that the New Jersey State Police have to bring in their elites with the Camden cops just to handle
Yeah.
business on a daily basis. So I had a fire restoration business at the time. So I'm
Okay.
literally in a house with one of the kingpins.
Okay.
His mother owns the house. I'm trying to connect and explain how we can help them at 10 o'clock in the morning. You ready?
Yeah.
At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm in Villanova, which is estates, with a gentleman sitting down, he needs to be comfortable enough with me
Yeah.
that we're going to handle his claim correctly. He's ready. He has to jump on his private jet to go down to his third property in Miami in an hour and a half. So at 10 in the
Crazy.
morning, I'm in North
Crazy.
Camden, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As rough as you could get,
Yep.
with a communication barrier, because he
Yeah.
spoke hardly any English. So I had his little sister, 12-year-old little
Oh my
girl,
God.
and
Oh my
they
God.
at 2 in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
business partner is like, "What in the world?" I go, but when you can build
Yeah.
emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
you have that golden egg.
Yeah, yeah. This is funny. There's this one day I was going for some security course, right? And there was I walk into the class and there's all these, everyday looking people,
Mm-hmm.
right? No one special or anything. But there was one guy, and it's like the whole room stayed on one side,
Yeah.
and there was one guy by himself, and you can feel it. This guy's been there and done that. He's
Yep.
been to hell and
Yep.
back. And he had the
Yep.
prison tattoos
Yep.
and full of tattoos, and everyone avoided him. And I looked in the room and I thought, if I get into a fight at the club, who do I want as my backup? That's the guy. And I went straight to him and I befriended him, and I even got him a job doing security at the club. But eventually he went on, he did other things. I guess habits take you back to
Yep. Yeah.
right. And so flash forward now, a few years later, I'm waiting on an elevator and these bunch of guys come, and it's like, uh-oh, I know something, they're already,
Energy.
they see me,
Energy.
and I know, oh shit, something's about to go very wrong very quickly, right? And then around the corner came that guy, and he said something to all those guys, and the elevator ride was peaceful. I felt safe. He gave me a wink, like he remembered
Yep.
me, that
Yep.
I got him the job, and I sat
Yep.
with him and I talked to him a lot. And it's like, whew,
Yep.
thank you.
Yeah.
Really, you know what? It pays. Be respectful. Be aware.
And come to the table. If people want to learn how to be bulletproof in life, it's so simple. You come to the table with pure intention, and you let the universe just handle
That's
everything else. It's
Yeah.
pure intention, right? Wins
Yeah.
every single time. Yeah.
Leave your ego at the door. Leave your ego at the door sometimes. You
Oh,
just got to let it rest.
you have to let it rest. And I want to get into a few practical tips
Sure.
for people when it comes to personal development. I mean, personal protection. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we we share with people on here is, and again, I keep going back to everything that you're sharing
Mhm.
applies to everything in life, not just
It
that
does.
physical fear, right?
It does.
It
Yep.
all applies to that. And learning how to identify that fear, keep moving forward so you can
Yep.
find that courageous part. And that's why I wrote the book Fearless is Bullshit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Growing up as a little kid and as a teenager, as a young man
Yeah.
on the East Coast where I grew up, Jersey, Philly, New York, it was, if you felt fear, you're broken, you're weak.
Yeah.
And what I
Yeah.
realized looking back is that can't be any more polar opposite wrong, right? We're all going to feel fear. It's a
Yeah.
matter of identifying it and
Yeah.
figuring out how to move forward through that. One of the things that I believe that stops people from doing this, and I want to hear your take on this,
Mm-hmm.
is as simple as this.
Mm.
Whether it's getting out of that relationship, whether it's getting out of that job, whether it's becoming a bouncer, whether it's becoming a bodybuilder, whether it's whatever
Mm-hmm.
that is, you have to set your foundation
Yeah.
with non-negotiables.
Yeah.
What are your
Absolutely.
non-negotiables, right? Because now that creates, when you know my non-negotiables, first of all, when I know them and then I share them with you, now
Yeah.
we're on the same playing field. You know
Yep.
what my non-negotiables are, vice
Yep.
versa. Oh,
That's right.
these are her non-negotiables. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's where so many people get clouded, right? They
Yeah.
allow other people to tell them what their non-negotiables are or whether
Yeah.
that's right or wrong. So speak on that.
Well, you know what? Going back, my father taught me something
Okay.
he said something very important, and that resonated with me till this day. I still use it.
Mhm.
I still think about it often. He said, you fight. He said, you fight for your rights, even though you know that you might lose and you might go down, you still fight. And I always kept that. And you could change fighting for something else,
Yeah, yeah,
moving forward,
yeah.
something a little bit more positive. But and also the family dynamic was we worked together in order to get to another place. So it was teamwork. You
Mhm.
needed teamwork. So why and how I face my fears, if I've agreed to show up at your club and to say, look, I'm going to protect your establishment, you have my word. I will go down, if
Yep, yep,
it,
yep.
to defend that, to protect that. Once you have my word, it guaranteed is going to be done
Mm.
regardless. And that's how I approach the stunt work. Regardless of what I'm going to do, I already
Yep,
told you I'm going to show up on that day to do that thing. We're going to do it,
yep.
you know
I, I
and
love
there have
that.
been there have
Yeah,
been times where I once had food poisoning for a stunt, and I was just a mess. I mean, it was
yeah,
coming out of my
yeah,
mouth just.
yeah.
And they were looking at me, the costume, hair, makeup, everyone's wondering, is she going to be able to do it? And I said, don't worry, my head is in the toilet. I'm like, don't worry, I'll be there, I'll be there.
Yep.
Right. And sure enough, between every take, I'm still throwing up. But when they said action, boy, that was it. I had a job to do. Maybe it's the growing up with that Austrian. You work,
Yep.
you work, you
Yep.
work. There's nothing else. So there is no option for bailing out. You
Yeah.
have to move forward. You have to do this, and this is your word, and your word should mean a lot.
Everything. It
Yeah,
really, it's what builds or tears down your self-image, right?
that's it.
And
That's
that's
it.
that's everything. Um,
Yeah,
and and I always say this is the greatest gift that any adult can give any child, whether it's your child or not, is a
yeah,
bulletproof self-image, because you're going to teach that
yeah,
child to be able to fish for itself and nobody has to fish for them.
yeah,
Now you just create, that's the ultimate gift. You can't
yeah,
buy anything close to
yeah.
that gift.
Yeah, and it's so amazing when you're doing something that feels uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. It feels uncomfortable. Look at it. It's a challenge. It's a challenge, and it's not going to be as bad as you think it
Never.
is. it's going, like, just before this, like the last 3 days, I didn't eat well, knowing I was going to come on and do this, but it's really not as bad. It's amazing. It's fun. I knew that we would just go back and forth talking. It's never as bad as it seems. You just keep moving forward, and it gives you a little bit of, good job. You were afraid, you were nervous, but you did it anyway.
Exactly. And
yeah.
the reason that I speak on fear so much is because I believe that the biggest fear that every human being has, bar none, is the fear of what other people think, the fear of being judged. So you ready for this, Helen? I have the life hack for that. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
When you start to feel that fear of going on stage and sharing your story, whether it's a digital stage or a physical stage, right? Because so many people they say more afraid of public speaking than they are death. Okay?
Yeah.
And the reason that is because they're afraid of being judged. You ready?
Yeah.
Here it is. We are human beings.
Yeah.
And we judge. Right?
Yeah.
It sounds nice to say, I never judge. I don't judge anybody. You're full of shit. Right?
You have to. It's a security thing. It's a safety
so we
thing.
Judge. So here's the life hack.
Yeah.
Your only job, Helen, is to make them accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the truth. I get judged every single day. Bald guy, tattoos.
Yeah.
Looks like trouble, must be trouble. And
That's
I hear it over and over. God, you're so much nicer than we thought. I said, yeah, my dog hears the same thing too. Right? And I get such a kick out of that. Right?
Yeah.
Because all you have to do is make him accurate. And the way you make him accurate is just show up as you.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that many times. What can a woman teach me?
Exactly.
Look at you. You don't look like much. Who's to say you can do what you say you do? And it's like all the time. And it's okay. It's okay. It makes it doesn't reflect on who I know who I am.
Exactly.
And I know what I've done.
Whatever that hiccup is for them, right? And then you have the guys that are the opposite. Is if I'm coming in to train with you and I could feel that energy, you've been there and done it, I'm bringing my wife or my girlfriend, right? Or my sister or my mom, right? To learn this and figure this out, So it's just, you just have to make them accurate and everything else falls into place.
But you want to hear a funny story about that and fear? And I had to do a stunt. So if anybody says, well, I don't want to make a fool of myself, I don't want to be embarrassed, this is going to be a good story for them. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had to do a stunt, and it involved nudity. So I had to be nude in a shower. It was for the movie Gothica with Halle Berry.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Very cool.
And so you're going to be naked. You're nervous, right? There's going to be hundreds of people that are naked in the shower also. But who cares? This is you. When it's your time to be nude. You know what I'm saying? You're the only one that exists, right?
Yep.
And so, it was like 2 or 3 months I knew about it. And so it's like, it weighs on your mind. I didn't tell anybody about it because I didn't want anyone to then go see the movie and to see me naked. All this stuff is going through my head. Didn't tell any friends or family, no students. What would the students say if they saw me, naked? And so I'm in my car and I thought, okay, this is it. Today's the day. Got to go get naked. All right. So I get out of the car and now I'm in stunt mode, right? No emotion. This is what I have to do. I have a job and I'm going to do it. Get there on set. All the extras are around, all the women are around, and okay, the director has this big blowhorn there, okay, clothes are off. Uh-oh. Did we lose each other?
There you go. We're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And so everyone disrobes, and so do I. And I'm like, okay, well, this isn't so bad. Everyone's around me. We're all naked. This is good. This is okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought. And then I hear the director on that horn, excuse me, you over there, the stunt girl. And it's like,
Oh,
yes.
no.
And I'm completely naked. And so now he's talking to me. And so now a huge circle opens up around me and I'm in the spotlight. And it's like, yes. He goes, yeah, it was just for the extras to take off their robes. You can still keep your robe on. And I'm like, oh, okay, great, thank you. And I have to walk now. But, you know, again, everyone has given me space. And it's like, look, now it's a funny story to tell. You think I care?
It's awesome.
You know what I mean?
It just keeps building that self-image, right? And
Yeah, exactly.
reminding your subconscious that you will do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
That's what I get from that story. It keeps building that self-image, building that self-image. That's awesome.
And that's another way of looking at, that's another
perspective. Yeah.
Perspective of fear. Exactly.
Yeah.
They come in all shapes and sizes. When I was training with Randy Couture, I felt my heart beating through my throat, you know, and it's like, this man's not going to kill me or hurt me or do anything. He's so nice and polite and all that. But it was Randy Couture, you know, and that was another level of adrenaline dump. And I was like, am I going to make a fool of myself and this and that? It's just, yeah, there's so many aspects of fear, but it's like, you take it on, just keep moving forward, keep moving forward.
And that's what makes the journey so interesting. That's what makes it so fun, right?
Yeah.
It's like, man, I don't want to not have fear, right? I in one of my chapters in my book, and I have the book is on its way to you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. I look forward to it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So one of the chapters is called the dynamic duo.
Yeah, okay.
And one of my mentors shared with me years and years ago, said if you're not scared and excited at the same time, it's not big enough. Find something that scares you and excites you at the same time. And it's so true when you look at life. Yeah.
And it's a sign of respect too.
Yes.
You're respecting what it is that you're going to do or who you're going to meet, or, you know, it shows that you care. It shows that even now when I meet my clients, like I do hypnosis now, it's like, okay, this person came to me with an issue. They trusted me. They opened up to me. I really want to help them. So you know, you get those little bit of butterflies. I hope what I do right now, you know, I want them to be able to, and for everyone, and it's a sign of respect.
Just like, and we're having Nick back on, and we're going to be talking about this. And so I'm putting it out there and putting you on the spot. Yeah. We're going to have you back on. We're going to talk about real practical tips that people in real world scenarios can use. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I want to have a separate episode on that and give that the respect and tie in. Mm-hmm. Now that I just learned about that you're doing hypnosis.
Yeah.
So we want to tie in the next episode. You ready?
Sure.
The practical tips.
Yeah.
What you're doing with hypnosis and what's going on with that, how you got into it. Yeah. And then because you use the word respect, I go right to this vehicle that gets me through this lifetime, right? So I had a real bad motorcycle accident probably about 18 years ago, intensive care for about 4 or 5 days. If I hit differently, I would have been dead or paralyzed. And I realized that it could be taken away like that. And the level of respect I have for this vehicle now is second to none. And I want to use another episode and give it the respect it needs for that. On a woman's perspective, right?
Yep.
That's been in physical situations, that's been in fearful situations, that's had to experience adrenaline dumps and work your way out of it. Talk about scary.
Yeah.
Talk about feeling vulnerable.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Walk by yourself to your car and have a couple of people follow you. Yeah.
Right? In the moment, right? At the end, you're just, there's nothing left. It's like an emotional. Yes.
You know, a good night at the club when not too much stuff happened, when it was pretty easy. I would go home. It took me 20 minutes to get home. I would go home and have to sing in the car to stay awake. You know, it's 3:30,
Yes.
4 o'clock in the morning. I got to sing my heart out just
Yes.
to make sure
Yes.
I don't fall asleep. A really bad night at the club, the radio is off and there's no noise, and I'm just
Zone.
you know, yeah, you're in the zone. You're just, it's almost like you're not even breathing.
Helen, one of the things that I want you to share, and I want to go deeper in this on the next episode,
Sure.
is one of the things that really caught my attention with you is a video you did with Nick.
Yeah.
And you talked about a rough night at the club.
Yeah.
You're going home.
Yeah.
You get home, you're going home and you get home and you keep reevaluating, what could I have done better? What could I have done? You got my attention when you went there, right?
Yeah.
Because that is the real world, right? That's the real, when the rubber meets the road, that is it. Because you know you're back there tomorrow night or you're back there next weekend, right? How can I make that better? Or what could I have done, right? And just as important, right? And we're going to go deeper in this, just as important that people forget is what did I do right? Give myself that credit. And I always go back to nature, right? When you're training a dog for personal protection or bomb sniffing, right? You can't end it on a negative. That dog has to win every single time, right? In order to now build on that, to feel and know that they are bulletproof. And the same thing with human beings.
Yeah.
When you can do that, that's why I say the greatest gift you can give any child is a bulletproof self-image, right? They need to be tested, but you have to end it on that positive, powerful note. So by you going there, what did I do wrong? How could I make that better? But man, don't forget, what did I do right? Because I'm going home. I'm going home.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
I want to go into that combination. So I want to be respectful of your time as well. But our next episode is going to be absolutely fire.
I love doing this, Dave, and I love that. Thank you for inviting me, and I would love to come back.
Right back at you, girl. Right back at you.
I could talk for hours.
Yes, right back at you. It's an energy, right?
Yeah.
You either know or you don't know. You know or you don't know. It's an energy, and that's why I connected with Nick instantly. Yeah, because it's real.
He's great.
Oh, it's real. And then when I saw a few of your episodes, I'm like, I like her. I like it. Yes.
Thank you.
It's a truth.
Thank you.
It's a truth.
Thank you.
So let's do this. Where can everyone find you?
They can find me at helenshypnosis.com.
Okay.
They can also find me at Helen Stranzl, STRANZL at yahoo.ca. On Instagram, it's Helen's Hypnosis. Okay, so an S at the end of Helen and then hypnosis. And in LinkedIn, it's my full name, Helen Stranzl. Again, STRANZL. Think of strangling someone, but take the G out, put a Z in there, and then just an L afterwards.
And we're going to make it easy for everybody. Make sure that we have all your handles.
Yes, okay.
Because then we're going to put them in the description, and everyone's going to know exactly where you are.
I had a
You're not going to be hard to find.
I'm so glad I faced this fear. Thank you.
This is it, right?
Now I'm going to have a great
And what
day.
happened? Here's what we did. We turned the lights on. We looked under the bed. There's no monster.
There's nothing there. Yeah.
Right?
It's just dirt.
It's so funny. Me and Nick ended with, we were talking about, the other huge fear, because it maps back to judgment, is your story, right? Where you came from. Well, I don't want to share that because I can't. And I said to Nick, one of the things that when I wrapped my brain around this, it changed everything.
Yeah.
You made it. You were bad enough to make it through. So now it's your obligation to share that. And he said, man, I
Yeah.
never looked. It's your obligation, right, to share
Yeah.
that. Because
Yeah.
whatever that is that you went through, somebody's going through it now or will go through it.
Yeah.
And the level of freedom that
Yes.
gives you, there's
Yes.
nothing,
Yes.
there's no money in the world that can buy that.
No, no, absolutely not. And I'm so privileged and I'm so fortunate to have everything I have. The experiences I had, even the bad
Yes.
ones, it brought me here.
Especially the bad
I wouldn't
ones.
change it for the world. I
Right.
wouldn't change it.
Especially the bad, what
Yeah.
you considered bad at the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
light was turned on. And you're like,
Yeah.
what?
Nothing
I
lasts
got
forever.
this.
It goes. It's fine.
It's self-image. I got
Yeah.
this. So
Yeah.
I love it. I love that you share with us that you did feel a little anxious coming on, right?
Yeah.
Because now
Yeah.
people connect with that. They get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So next episode is going to be absolute fire. And we're going to talk about practical steps.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the power of hypnosis,
Yeah.
right? What you're
Sure.
doing.
Yeah.
And we're going to tie that all in to our
Yeah.
number one title. And we're going to crush that fear barrier. And when you get the book, you'll see the subtitle. We're going to teach you how to get your lunch money back from the ultimate bully, fear.
Very nice. I'm so looking forward to reading it. Thank you. And I love reading.
Awesome. Awesome. And
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to the feedback and so appreciative that you shared your time.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It was really a thrill and I can't wait for the next time.
Let's go. Let's book it. Let's book it, girl. Let's get it on.
Okay.
Let's do it. And then any questions, you know how to find me. And we will send this over to you and you promote however you want and we'll keep you in the loop and let's get the next one.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And have a great day.
You too. Thank you.